Hello everybody. So continuing on our journey with ERP Enterprise Resource Planning, now we will talk about evolution and benefits. So just give you a brief history of the product, because again ERP is a very integral part of the information system, management information system. So a bit of history, and then we will also talk a little bit about benefits, because that is what you primarily need to understand, why ERP, what are the benefits, etc. There are several, I already also told you a little bit about various aspects, and it is very multi-dimensional. It's a very vast exposure, a very vast scope, and it touches upon the entire every aspects and life of an enterprise. So it's very broad, very broad spectrum, I would say. So understanding all the benefits will be difficult in this duration, but you must basically understand what are the core benefits, the major benefits, so that you as managers, because I see you as potential future IT managers when you will join working in an MIS functioning management information system, you will be able to sell your ideas to your customers who are your business counterparts. When you are working in an organization as an IT department, your business managers, your production fellows, finance guys, the materials guys, the maintenance guys, these are your purchase guys, these are your, they will be your customers. You will have to go and tell them that buy the SAP, use SAP, why and what, these are the advantages. You will be selling SAP to them, and once they get convinced, once your finance department gets convinced, I mean they will be, obviously, because it's a question of investment, so the money has to come. The CEO has to agree, so they will agree only when you can convince them of the various benefits. So it's very important that you understand what are the various major benefits. The evolution, ERP started with something called MRP. MRP is nothing but materials requirement planning. So it started from the manufacturing sector, but nowadays ERP is everywhere, all sectors, financial sector, health sector, service sector, banking, everywhere ERP is used. But it started with typically the materials requirement planning was used by the manufacturing sector. And in my discussion, I will mostly refer to an automobile industry, because we, all of us, see cars, we understand how a car factory. It's very easy to explain things on a automobile industry scenario. So it started in systems of early 60s and 70s. It advantages were it provided information on which items to buy or manufacture, or how much quantity on which date. So one thing you must understand something, know something called a bill of material, BOM. So I will be using this term very often, bill of material. So any material you take, say a car for example, let's take cars. So car has got what are the components, major components? It has got 4 wheels for example, 4 wheels, gearbox, an engine, a battery, then all the electricals, then the steering wheel, the seats, the body, the windows, the screens, the windows, the front screen, back screen, glasses, then the mirrors, then your radiator, cooler, suspension system, and so many things, components, carburetor, whatever, etc., fuel injection system, etc. So these are the, it has got the bill of material. So what an MRP does, when you get an order for say 100 cars, that it explodes that bill of material through that software called MRP, and then for they will tell you, it will tell you for making 100 cars you need how many? You need 400 wheels for example. Actually you need 5 wheels per car, because one is a stepney. So it will tell you you need to order for 500 wheels, and you need to order for, say there are 2 wipers, maybe 100 into 200 wipers, then 100 batteries, 100 gearboxes, 100 engines, etc. So that for a 100 car all the components will be added up, and it will say that you have to get these so many of so much material. So apparently it looks but simple, but the material components are actually in thousands in a car, from very small plastic components to electrical switches, etc., dashboards, meters, I mean so many. It's not possible for a person to remember and recall. So that is all that was done through this software with the help of this material requirement planning software. So these are the advantages. The disadvantages were it did not look at available capacity while planning. So when you are planning something, that if to make 100 cars, how much time will I take? So there is a time. Now here it does not take any consideration that capacity of the machine. So it thinks it as if it has got infinite capacity. So it will tell you if I get 100 material, the quantity all the time in time, I will make it in whatever. So no constraints. Could not replan quickly. Suppose there was a change in the order quantity, it could not replan quickly. So suppose in 100 the customer, instead of 100 give me only 80. So, you have to replan or maybe 120. So, that replanning etc. in between was not possible in this original software, and it was not integrated with other organizational processes, like it was not integrated with finance etc. and materials etc. So, that was the original MRP, we called MRP 1, the strategy started with all that. Then we came something called MRP 2 or the closed loop MRP. The advantage was it was manually feasibility check of MRP plans. So, it's a manual feasibility, you can check the MRP plan whether it's okay or not okay, and you could also replan any changes etc. could be captured and replanned, and it provided alerts, triggers if the plan is not feasible. Suppose there is a shortage of material, so the plan is not feasible, so it will throw some alerts, tell you that there is a shortage of material, so order some more. Disadvantage was it could not again replan quickly and not integrated with other organizational process. Again, that integration part was missing, so it was only about the bill of materials and purchase. So, not with any other functionalities, departments like sales or finance or quality. So, from a closed loop MRP, then the next one was MRP 2. MRP 2 was a bit more advanced, were much more stronger compared to MRP, closed loop MRP in terms of functionality. These systems were well integrated with several organizational business process and multiple modules. So, it was now really becoming the one of the first ERP system, the basics, the MRP 2. So, it include processes for sales planning, demand management etc. So, many integration effects started coming in, and helped in several supply chain execution processes like purchase and production, order execution, sales execution etc. Disadvantage was that not fully integrated with all organizational processes like HR etc. So, it was the beginning of you can say ERP. So, MRP 2 started seeing lot of integration. So, history of ERP by year etc. So, 2000 onwards it's all beyond 80s we really started having the ERP, and then now 2000 onwards it's we have got additional platforms, I would say, like supply chain management, customer relationship management, product life cycle management and supplier relationships management. Again, we will touch upon these later on in our sections, each of them, because these are very important ingredients of or extension of ERP, I would say. Really, they are sitting on ERP, they are also linked to ERP, they are sitting on top of ERP. ERP, some early history and a few leading ERP. Some is 1972, SAP. 5 engineers from IBM in Mannheim, Germany started the company SAP with the idea of producing and marketing standard software for integrated business solutions. That is the history of SAP, because SAP is the most popular ERP product today being used by most industries. I mean, most of the Fortune 500 companies use SAP, for example. 1975, Richard Lawson, Bill Lawson and John Corello started Lawson Software, prepackaged enterprise technology solutions, an alternative to customized business. Again, this is a history. So, 72 SAP, 75 Lawson products, 77 was JD Edwards, there is another from JD Edwards, and which later on became merged with Oracle ERP. 1978, there is Jan Baan from Holland, who developed as a very popular manufacturing, especially in the steel plant segment, Baan Corporation, Baan Software. Now, this has also become changed, it's called now known as Infor. So, the companies get taken over, changed etc. It happens like in many industries, software also same thing. In 1987, a very popular HR, PeopleSoft was an ERP, but its HR module was very strong. So, it was very popular for HR applications, was founded by Duffield and Ken Morris. PeopleSoft also has JD Edwards, PeopleSoft etc. all have been taken over by Oracle. And this Oracle ERP was there, and they added all these, and they have and there was also another CRM software called Siebel, which was all taken over. So, Oracle is the next nearest challenger to SAP. So, we really have two very large ERP product, one is SAP and the other is Oracle ERP or Oracle Financials, and the third one is probably Infor, number 3 in the world. So, SAP, we will talk mostly about SAP. I myself practiced SAP as a consultant many years back for PricewaterhouseCoopers, and I have done many SAP implementation in Indian companies. So, SAP, the English name is Systems, Applications and Products in Data Processing. So it's a R3, it's called R3 because it's a 3-tier, I'll explain later, next slide, client server architecture, and ABAP 4 is the technical language, the software language, like we talk about, Java and .NET, etc. The language used to develop the product, this software product, is known as Advanced Business Application Processing. So ABAP, ABAP 4, that's a software being used, platform for developing this product, writing the codes. And these are the modules you see here: SD, sales and distribution. So we use these acronyms very often: sales and distribution, materials management, production planning, quality management, plant management, HR is of course HR. Then industry solutions I'll talk about later, workflow, project systems, treasury, controlling, financial accounting. So these are all the functionalities you can think of, most of them are covered here. Now industry solution is, they develop specific solutions for particular industries. For example, media, the print media for example. So the print media, the newspapers you need. So when they use SAP, they need some very specific thing, because in print media their quantities are different, not like a material. So when they sell a media advertisement space for example, they sell by column centimeter. So the length and width of that column and the length of the number of words you put in the advertisement. So that is a product for them, and they sell by so many square centimeter or something like that. So that is, it's not a very common thing. So it's very typical of a media industry. Or there is a media solution for industry solution for oil and gas, petroleum industry. So they also use some very different business processes and nomenclatures, which is not very common with other industries. So they have to be very specific. There is something called a footwear and apparel industry solution, like for shoes and shirts and pants. I mean, they again sell by various different products, names, etc., brands, by size, color, I mean, infinite number of combinations. So they need again a specific software to handle such complexities, I would say, in their sales and other functionalities. So for them, these industries, SAP develops specific products which are used by only those industries, and they are not used by other industries. So the ones I talked about earlier was about best practice, like for example automobile industry, that's very generic. Manufacturing, typical manufacturing industry is automobile industry. So there we can develop a lot of best practices and we can get advantage of that. So even if Mercedes is using SAP, BMW, Toyota, General Motors, and we can learn from their experience whenever also we as an Indian, maybe automobile industry, use SAP. So we are getting those advantages. So this is the 3-tier architecture. So on the top is the presentation layer, that is where the user is sitting. The GUI is a graphical user interface, is being used by the actual user to access the SAP screens. And then in between, after that you have the application layer, the servers where the transaction is taking place, all the calculation is being done, etc. And at the lowest level is your database layer, that is where the servers are, the storing, all the data gets stored here. So whatever data is getting created, all the transaction data, the master data, everything is stored in that database layer. So that is a central database layer from where everything is accessed by the top layers, the user layer, the presentation layer. So that is why it's called 3-tier. So there are 3 levels of the IT hardware: servers in 2 layers and desktop PCs, laptops, etc. on the top layer. So business process benefits clients expect from an ERP project. So this is we started with go ahead with the actual business benefits. The number one benefit, which is shown in red because it's why I wanted to make it stand out, is inventory reduction. So the first advantage which is inventory reduction. So in any manufacturing industry, the major working capital requirement comes from inventory. Inventory really blocks up 70 to 80% of your working capital requirement. So everybody's focus, management focus, the finance department, etc., is how to reduce my inventory so that my money is not blocked up. So when I get a raw material, the idea should be to convert into the finished good as soon as possible and ship it out, sell it to the customer. So then only my money will flow. So the inventory must move across my organization fast, comes in, gets manufactured, gets utilized, gets into the finished product, and then goes out of the factory to the customer. Now, in this COVID times, you might have seen that many car factories are lying, cars were not selling, or in many other industries, but we are talking about car as an industry. So, stockpile, there was in the factory field, you will see outside there a lot of cars are standing. So, that is inventory blocked. It is not generating cash because already sold, the cash money is not recovered. So, your money is blocked in the industry, inventory. So, they should now stop buying raw materials and components, because otherwise they will keep coming in, but finished cars are not being sold. So, there is a stockpile of car and there is a stockpile of half finished or raw materials and other inventory. So, all your money is getting blocked up in unused inventory. So, you will run short of working capital, then you will have to go to the banks to borrow money, and borrowing money is expensive. So, one of the major advantages of an ERP project is how they optimize everything to reduce inventory. How it does, we will again talk later. Global process product management. So, global process I was talking about is one of those is the best practices which we can learn from various other successful companies. And also, if you are a multinational, for example, so you are a European company or a US company or a parent company in US or Europe, they have certain business processes, and you from here in India you start your operation. So, you can get all your global processes from your parent company, because you are now connected through the software. It is a common software. So, the process they are using is also will be the process that you will be using. So, that is a big advantage. Integrated supply chain management. So, we will talk more when we talk about supply chain management. So, from a supplier to a manufacturer and to the customer, everything is getting integrated, and I have shown you a picture about those gears, showing those gears about the Tata Motors or the vehicle manufacturer, truck manufacturer. You have the bus or the bus manufacturers, the State Transport Corporation on one side, the Tata Motors on the middle, and the battery supplier, for example, one of the vendor Exide is on the other side, and they are all integrated. So, one order released by a State Transport Corporation for a 100 quantity bus, the entire thing gets communicated to down to the lowest level to the battery supplier, OEM supplier for 100 batteries. Leverages purchasing and vendor management. Again the same thing, it is leveraging the purchasing and vendor management because everything is automated. So, just run an MRP program and the bill of material will explode, and it will create purchase orders for all the bought out components. We will talk about that later again in details. Order cycle time, customer service improvement. Since things are online real time, we save a lot of time. So, when we save a lot of time means we can produce faster. So, this talks about productivity. Now, if I can make things faster, my customer gets his material faster. So, my customer service is improved because my order cycle time is released. So, when a customer gives me an order, I can deliver it to him in a very short period of time, or in a lesser period of time than what I was used to do pre-ERP, before ERP. So, even if there is an improvement of 10% or 20% of productivity and time, the customer will be very happy because he is getting his things faster. Reduced information system costs on an ongoing basis. Again, with the advent of ERP, you can get rid of many other local softwares, because previously every department needs to run their own softwares. Now, once you install an ERP SAP, you can replace all of these software or most of these softwares by a single software. So, that overall finally, although initially it is expensive, but overall finally in the long run it will reduce your information system cost, because maintenance, software maintenance again is it's a costly affair, it's a headache, difficult thing. So, when you have to maintain maybe 50 softwares, it is complicated, but when you have to maintain one software, one big software, that is much easier than maintaining 50 different softwares supplied by different vendors, for example. So, you have to have different vendor management contracts, but here it is just talking about a single vendor, SAP. Now, ERP benefits, it's at the center you can see real time and integration. So, that is what we are talking many times, real time, that is a central benefit. The other ones are, it brings in the best practice, we have already talked about this. Reduce the order to cash cycle time. So, we have talked about that, reducing cycle time. So, it is increasing productivity. It is improving customer service, customer responsiveness. Customer, as soon as it gives an order, it gets his material in a faster, lesser time, and also gets immediate communication. So, through their connected system, they come to know when things are ready, when the thing is going to get dispatched and when they are going to receive the order. So, all the information they get, and getting information is, it's very important. So, I know that my material will come, like when you order a quantity something in, for example, in Amazon, and then you can track your order. So, they will know that yes, your delivery is promised on 7th of July, today is how much, 3rd of July. So, you know in 4 days time it will come. Then tomorrow when you see, okay, now material has moved to such and such position, and your expected delivery instead of 7, now it is 6, it will come maybe 1 day before, or even if it gets delayed, it will come 2 days later, but you know, you have the information. Then instead of 7th, I will get it on 9th. So, fine, then I can make my plans accordingly. Suppose I was depending on that material for something, to do something else, then I will defer that by 2 days, because I got an information that instead of 7th, it will come on 9th. So, that is the power of information, and you can do it without asking anybody, without calling up anybody. Simply on your phone, you go to Amazon, your order, track progress, and from there you come to know everything. Either it is coming on that exact date, or coming 1 day before, or coming 2 days later. Now, that is what is the beauty and power of ERP. And just think about your individual one item, and now you think of a business enterprise working with several customers and several items. How powerful this software then is, as to, so that it can satisfy, give satisfaction to so many customers. Better data management, that I also discussed, the correctness, there is less error, there are a lot of online validation, so you can do a lot of things, and a single point of entry, a single point of truth. So, if you are entering data only once, if the first time you have not done a mistake, and then there is no possibility of making any more mistake for that data. It is automating transactions, many transactions get automated. We will talk about that program, MRP program, etc. later. Better planning, analysis and decision making. Yes, it is a decision making tool, it gives a decision making support, because it is giving you real time information, and then based on that you can use, take your decision. It facilitates BPR, business process re-engineering. About, I have told you about the best practices we can learn from other successful international companies like Toyotas of the world, and big successful multinationals. We can learn from their best practices. Inventory forecasting models, it also has a lot of forecasting models built in, through which you can, they can forecast and tell you exactly how much material quantity you need for your operations. So, that is how you can optimize your inventory requirement, by successfully using these forecasting models. And they can tell you, they can they have various forecasting models inbuilt into the system, like reorder point planning or seasonal based forecasting, etc., etc. And you can apply these to, take decision on how much material to buy when, by time period, because it tells you how much you are going to consume. So, buy accordingly so much quantity and not anything more, because I have already told you how extra inventory is nothing but a loss. It is a blocked up working capital, money is blocked, it is a waste. Inter-organization collaboration, I have again explained how the chain works, the supplier to customer, the whole chain works, multiple organizations, there is a collaboration because of your connectivity and using the same ERP. And then intra-organization communication is within the organization, various department, etc. As I told you again, because everybody is accessing the same central database, all functionalities, all departments are getting the same information. The quality of information is now excellent. There is no, nobody is having different information about the same thing. So, everybody, whatever information is common and same for everybody. So, that itself is a big advantage. Getting the best out of an ERP, maximizing your return on investments, because I told you it is a expensive product, and implementing ERP software is also takes a lot of time and money. So, when you are investing something, the CIO or the CEO or the CFO will ask you, first thing is, what is my ROI, or what is going to be the return on investment, in how many months or years are you going to recover this investment from the benefits which it is going to produce. So, you have to understand, as a manager, IT manager, you have to understand what is meant by return on investment. I am going to invest so many crores of rupees, so what is my return? So, you need to have a comprehensive or thorough business case for the executives and business stakeholders. So, first you have to think is that it is not just an IT project, it is a business project. That is a common mistake many people do. ERP is not really an IT program, it is a business program, because it is everything it is doing is for the business. It is transforming the business, it is helping the business to run, it is fundamental for a business to use an IT, this ERP, etc. So, ERP is not really, it's very not really a typical, you can't say it's an IT product. So, it is a software, it's an IT product really, technically yes, but grammatically yes, but actually it is meant without, it's meant for the business, it's enabling the entire business work, the entire business transformation, for example, that is being enabled by this IT. Hence, I call it more of a business program rather than an IT program, and it is best to see it from the business perspective only, because all the value will be derived by the business people. So, the business people have to play a major role in taking a decision on ERP or SAP, etc., etc. It provides you an excellent opportunity to transform the business. So, when you implement SAP, your business transformation happens. It is called business process re-engineering. That is where we use the acronym BPR very frequently. You can modernize your business by just implementing SAP, make it change it completely, make it at par with global successful companies. It entails significant organizational change. Of course, when you are transforming means change, and you are changing it for the better, you are making it more efficient, making it more smarter, making it more productive, and making it more excellent, I would say. Without support from business, the ERP implementation falters, and IT often has a hard sell for keeping it going. So, do not keep it within the IT department. So, when you are thinking anything to do with ERP or SAP, etc., talk to the business people, involve them, because if they are not involved, it will never be successful, because they are the main users and they are the only users. The IT team is merely supporting it. So, focus on the business people, involve them right from the beginning. Then only you can really extract maximum benefit out of an ERP. Know your product and reduce your old applications. The standardized information and processes of these solutions will streamline your operations so that they are more efficient. I have already discussed this, how things, the BPR, how the processes get improved, etc., etc. The industry best practice will prepare you to handle external pressures such as competition and compliance. So, when you have the best business processes, obviously you are better than your competitors. You are doing things much better way than what your competitors are doing. So, obviously you will be able to handle external pressures much better than your competitors. And also compliance. I mean, compliance is a very important thing, that are you following the government rules and regulations, and that is what, when you take the best practice from successful companies, they are always very compliant. So, you can be safe when you know that yes, I am at least not doing something wrong as far as the government is concerned, the rules of the laws of the land is concerned. I am following all rules and laws in things like GST and income tax, etc., etc. Customization will ensure that your particular needs are being met. These products also you can customize, change it according to your requirements and need. They are not just very rigid, so you are very flexible, so you can change it to meet your needs and requirements. And then avoid too many customization, that is one of the best practices. Do not make too many changes, because the products are very standard, they are very international, very famous, they are global, and they are being used by very large successful companies. So, do not change it try to change it too much, because then it will create more problem for you. Getting the best, continuing on that, cross the IT business divide. ERP implementation is not an IT program, but a business program. So, that is what I had said earlier, I am repeating here. So, always keep in mind, it is not an IT program, but it is a business program. So, it should be always headed by and managed by the business head. Maybe a CFO should actually manage this program. So, ERP applications form the information backbone of your business. So, the information backbone of your business is this ERP or SAP. Increasingly, business executives, the ones making decisions and trying to increase profits, are using these applications and need the information it can provide. So, the whole business is running on ERP, because without information you can't take any decision, and all that information is coming from ERP. So, this I have been repeating many times, because I have to repeat it many times, because you should also get it into your system that information, information, information. Everything, the whole business runs on this thing, information, information and information. Business professionals and not IT experts should be part of the process of defining functional requirements for the application. So, when you are designing your SAP, how to implement it, etc., a lot of functional requirements comes in, and here again business professionals. This I will discuss more when we discuss the project part of it, project aspect. When you implement a project, what roles are played by different functional people and to design the product during the implementation time. So, to conclude, they're getting the best out of ERP, maximizing ROI. ERP software can be an expensive and time consuming IT investment. So, you have to be very careful when you do that. Implement SAP, you have to plan properly, thoroughly, involve a lot of people, take the business help from the business people, and then go ahead with it, because it is not an easy job, it's a difficult job. Implementing an SAP or ERP the software program in the organization. And ERP applications facilitate the standardization and acceleration of business processes and contribute to the visibility necessary to run your business well and grow revenue and profit. So, it summarizes all the advantages I have been talking about generally in one sentence. It's facilitating standardization. So, things need to standardize. You have to have the best business processes, acceleration of business processes, and to contribute to the visibility, because you have to be transparent, you have to have information, same information, the right information across all functionalities. So, you have the visibility, because everybody needs that information it's necessary to run your business well. And of course, you have to running your business to growing your revenue and profit. So, that is one of the major motives of the whole business. Its purpose is to make profit. So, thank you very much.